like 6 months or 8 months or so, that was kind of having an issue with motivation in the sense that he would do great work for a couple weeks, then kind of fade, and then we'd have a talk with him, and then whatever he was supposed to do in that point where he faded, he would kind of get it all done in the next few days. And this was getting kind of worse and worse as the time went on, and it was taking 3 weeks to do something that should take a week, and it was really just getting worse and worse. But the issue was that this developer had already done a good amount of the work, and to bring on another developer, get him up to pace, and also potentially lose the work that the other developer has already done is a really hard decision to make, because it's like, if this guy just stepped up and actually self-motivated and put in the work, we could get it done in 2 weeks. But if I have to get rid of him, then it might take I don't know, 4 weeks or 6 weeks. But when it's taking a month and a half, 2 months to do this stuff that should take 2 weeks, and it's kind of a repeating process, it kind of got to the point where it was like, we need to just make kind of a hard decision, because making a hard decision up front saves you from a lot more harder decisions in the future. And also, it can be difficult to essentially fire someone, but the way I look at it is it's you're kind of letting go of one person for the betterment of 150,000 people. So we got essentially, let's say 2.5 weeks ago, we got to the point where everything was done except for the work that this one developer needed to do. So we tried to get him motivated again. It just wasn't working out. So he was gracious and gave us the work that he did do, which was not what he said was already done, but at least we didn't have to start from scratch on that part of the work. And at that point, it became a major kind of weight off my shoulders, because I have very good devs that are very motivated, that will do the work, and I try to be loyal to people. And also I want us to be as efficient as possible. But it got to the point where it's just like, all right, we gotta take what we can get from him when he's already done, and we gotta move on. We gotta bring someone else on board, and it's about 2 weeks worth of work, and we made that decision last week. So the great part about that is something that should have taken a couple weeks, which was taking like a couple months, maybe even a little over a couple months, and we were kind of left up in the air about it, because it's someone that would say, all right, it's done, and we say, okay, upload it so we can get it audited. They don't upload it. Okay, we'll have a meeting on Monday. We'll all get on the same page. They don't show up to the meeting. They show up the next day and say, oh, sorry, all that kind of thing. So the beautiful thing about it is that they are not working on that now. Now we have a developer who I've been working with for a long time, years, who is working on it. It's like the contract work is essentially done, and now it's just the UI stuff. We brought on James DevStreak to just help us get the UI work done even faster. And where previously it was kind of like up in the air because of the situation we were dealing with that one developer, now last week, to just do this last little part, we brought on a dev who's extremely motivated, who knows what he's doing, very skilled. He's almost completed with it, and now it's just a little bit of UI stuff. And we brought on James DevStreak just to make that even faster to wrap up. and it's essentially a week's worth of work now. So I'm confident that we're going to have everything wrapped up with Animal Farm by the end of the week, and at that point, we can set a launch date and start our major marketing campaign. Now, the I don't want to use our marketing resources, like our higher level connections and all that stuff, until we have a launch date, because some of these channels that we're going to be getting on, like Chico Crypto and these big channels that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and get 30,000, 50,000 views, very active. Typically they don't like to have the same person on every week. So that's the kind of thing where you go on their channel every other month, or something like that. So I don't want to use up that resource and not have a date to promote. So as soon as we have the date, then immediately we're going to start with some high level marketing. And when I say high level marketing, I'm talking like YouTube ads, I'm talking banner ads on BSC Scan and Dex Tools and DAP Radar and all the major sites, CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap. I'm talking not just YouTube ads as far as getting on major channels and having like interviews with major channels and having sponsorships with major channels, but also like in-play ads that you see, when you're watching a video and before the video or midstream, the ads that come up. We'll also be having those, and we're having those produced right now professionally. We also have a new, you could call it, tool that we're using to track where the traffic is coming from, and if it results in a purchase of our asset, and if that asset is staked into our contracts. So all of our marketing vehicles that we're taking advantage of will be linked to a specific, it's not, you could call it a tool, it's more like a protocol with a series of tools that will allow us to really track where the traffic is coming from and put more of our resources into that. So as soon as we have the date, the marketing is going to be, I believe, a higher level marketing than, by far, definitely higher than anything we've ever done, but I believe more intense than anything that we've seen in crypto. And the reason for this is because the marketing firm that we partnered with is a top level marketing firm in crypto. They they provide marketing for Matic, Polygon, Sandbox, Shopify, Shopping.io, some major projects. But also the CMO that we brought on has a ton of experience in traditional markets, especially affiliate marketing type of businesses. And that's perfect for what we're doing, because most of our products have referral systems. Scratchy actually has a affiliate marketing system. So we're not only going to be hitting the typical crypto promotion that you see with the banner ads on the the typical sites. We're going to be really taking it to the next level. Like, I believe how you would see a major a major tech company or a major game, like, when you're probably familiar with Raid Shadow Legends.
No.
Okay, well, it's kind of a meme. People who are listening will know what I'm talking about. There's a video game called Raid Shadow Legends, and they're everywhere, right? Especially like a year ago, you couldn't watch a YouTube video without them saying this video is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends, or getting a in play YouTube ad for Raid Shadow Legends, or it was just everywhere. Twitter, everywhere, and this is the kind of feet to pavement kind of marketing I want. I want us to not just be settling with typical crypto marketing. I really want to take this to the next level, and I believe that we have the team to do that. So that's I'm very excited about the products that we built, but I'm equally as excited about our marketing plan that we have, because I know how important marketing is for crypto and DeFi. I mean, projects that are like Elon Inu or whatever get millions of dollars in them just strictly based off of memes and marketing. And I've always known that marketing is just as big or
Lots
even
of claims
bigger
coming in
to a DeFi project than basically anything else. So it's the marketing gets the money into the product, and then the product keeps the money. So you need to have that marketing to get the money in, and then that if what determines if the money is going to stay in is how good your products are. And I know we have products that are high quality, that are innovative, that are better than anything in the space. And really, I think the one thing that we need to step our game on, and I think all of DeFi kind of needs to step up their game on, is marketing. So we still have all of the marketing tools and strategies that have got us to where we are. Referral structures, me doing our AMAs, a close connection with the biggest players in the space, like all the the major Telegram groups and the super active YouTubers. We still have all these connections, but now we have several new layers of marketing. The new firm that we're partnering with, and a CMO that's extremely experienced in traditional marketing. And the CMO has this firm that we're partnering with to his, at his command. So the reason why I hired a CMO, and also we're working with a marketing firm, is because the marketing firm is one of the largest firms for marketing in crypto. They have a network that's
this is the same repeat thing we've heard
at least as strong as my network is, but in different
that was promised.
In kind of different areas of the space. So we both have huge networks, but our networks don't overlap so much, which is perfect. But I saw a bit of conflict of interest there if the marketing firm that is selling us the services is also managing our budget. So I wanted to bring someone in to help manage our budget under my supervision. But I still wanted to have all of the connections and network of the firm. And we just, we got the best of both worlds going on now. It's really, really, really going to be something that you guys will be impressed with, I feel. And it's all about to get started next month, essentially. So this, in the next couple days, you're going to start to see things start to roll out. Next week, we're going to have the documentation for Animal Farm go live. So that was just finished. I don't want to publish it on the weekend. I don't really like to do anything on weekends as far as making large announcements. But early next week, we're going to have the new documentation for Animal Farm. We boiled it down to a couple pages. So right now, if you look at the white paper for Animal Farm, it's like 40 pages long or something crazy. That's because we have so much going on. I hired someone to help us with the documentation, and basically what I told him is we need to have all of the mechanics explained, but it needs to be boiled down to 3 to 5 pages so people will actually read it, and that's what we got done. So we're still going to have the very large 40-page white paper that you can really get a lot of details in, but what's important and what we just produced and will be published on Monday is a really condensed version that we can share with people that people will actually read. So that's important for some of the marketing that we're putting together as well. So some of the platforms that we are scheduled to have marketing with, they wanted the white paper to the new to the new products, and we have that developed now. So that's going to go a long way. Yeah. So marketing is going to be something. It's going to be a big focus for us moving forward, and I'm excited about it.
That's awesome. The way I hear that is basically we have the extremely high level revolutionary products, and now we combine that with high level revolutionary marketing campaign. And when you combine those two together, like you said before, get the money into the project with the marketing campaign, and then keeping the money in when they see how truly good the products are, that's going to create for a perfect storm as far as I can see.
But this has all been said.
But anyway,
so revolutionary.
To shift on to a different note here,
already. This is nothing
Scratchies. We released the documents earlier this week. Everyone was extremely excited about it. And I think a lot of people want you to maybe talk a little bit more in depth about just the scratch ticket protocol in general.
Yeah. And let me talk about, so I want to talk a little bit about why Scratchy is so bullish for Drip and Animal Farm. And this is, as people know, right? I had someone ask, so is the tickets that are sold on platforms that are not Animal Farm and not Drip sending capital directly to Animal Farm and Drip? And this is something that I realized may not be super obvious to people when he asked this, and it's something that I want to talk about because it's important. So with Scratchy, it's a complete white label service, and that means when someone utilizes our protocol, the Scratchy platform or the Scratch tickets, Scratch ticket model is hosted on their site. And as far as anybody knows, when they go on their site, it looks like their project. So they buy the tickets on their site. The tickets have their theming. Say they're I don't know, like penguin coin or something. The tickets will have penguins and snowballs and that whole theme for them. The 15%, or let's say up to 15% because it's negotiable, but up to 15% of all the B&B used to buy tickets on their platform goes to buying their native asset. So if it was Penguin Coin, it goes to buying Penguin Coin. Now, the developers who are hosting the service, they're in full control what happens to those Penguin Coins that the protocol buys. And it's up to them. They could take it as a payment. So they could, it could be another income stream for the developers. Now, would that be smart for them to take it all as a payment stream? I would say no. And I don't think many developers will do that. What most likely will happen is they'll take 1 or 2% as a payment for them, which is their incentive to host the service. One of their incentives to host the service, but they can use the other 12, 13% to create a new staking protocol that pays out their tokens over time, which is coming from the buyback mechanism of our Scratchy protocol. They could burn them. So it's, buying and burning hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of their assets every week. They can, they can use it as some other form of reward structure. There's a ton that they can do with it, so it's very attractive for them to host the model. And as far as the average user that's exposed to their model on their site is concerned, it's their project. Now, and it has their own treasury as well, meaning 10% of all the BNB, which is used to buy tickets on their site, goes into their treasury. So their project has their own treasury. Now, that treasury goes towards the jackpot. So a percentage of the treasury goes towards their jackpot. And what this means is every batch sold increases the jackpot for each batch. Now, since each platform will have its own jackpot, that means some platforms will have larger jackpots than others. Now, the revenue sharing model, so 10% or more, and the reason why it's up to 15% and 10% or more is this is negotiable and it depends on their model, but capital which is not going towards buybacks or revenue for the developers who host it will be going to increasing the revenue sharing in the staking model. But at least 10% of the BNB used to buy tickets on each platform goes towards one revenue sharing staking pool. And this revenue sharing staking pool is on the Scratchy website. So that means no matter what platform you buy tickets on, when you stake those tickets, you're getting a share revenue of all the platforms. At least 10% of all the BNB used to buy tickets on every platform every day. Now, so the average user is going to be interacting with the platform in two ways. Going to be you buying the tickets off the platform, and as far as they're concerned, it's their own tickets, and they are providing the tickets by using Scratchy's protocol and staking into the revenue sharing model. But there will be some more intelligent investors, because there always are, that will do the research and say, hey, where can I buy these tickets? Especially, right, this is especially for the investors that are more concerned with getting with revenue sharing. They're going to look at the overall ecosystem of Scratchy and say, okay, it doesn't matter where I buy tickets. Either way, if I stake them, I'll get a revenue share. So I should probably be buying the tickets on the platform with the largest jackpot treasury. And whatever platform has the largest jackpot treasury, that platform will have the largest jackpots. Now, the lower tier prizes will be the same across platform, but the jackpots will be different. So there'll be some percentage of buyers who are going to want to get, who are going to figure out, I should be buying wherever the largest jackpot is. Now, Animal Farm and Drip are going to have a head start. They're going to be the first protocols that we host the service on, and that means, at least at first, and most likely in the future, but not necessarily the future, but at least at first, they will have the largest treasury. So, as people get exposed to Scratchy from our white label service, and which is extremely scalable, almost infinitely scalable, and they go back into the revenue sharing pool of Scratchy, and they start doing research of the ecosystem, so it will act as a funnel to bring people into Drip and to bring people into Animal Farm. And when tickets are bought on the Animal Farm or Drip platform, then 15% of that B&B goes to buying Drip and pigs. So not only is it going to be a huge cash flow, a huge new cash flow and utility for Animal Farm and Drip, it's also going to act as a extremely scalable funnel to drive people into Animal Farm and Drip. So when I built Scratchy, the idea was I want to have a product that can service all of DeFi, is essentially infinitely scalable, has a very strong fundamental use case, is built using a model that we know works, that we know is successful, the scratch ticket model, and I wanted to drive traffic to our own native assets and our primary platforms. And there's nothing like Scratchy to do that. There's nothing in DeFi like Scratchy to do that. So it's going to be massive for Drip and Animal Farm. You know, not just at first, but as the project scales, there's going to be some percentage of all the buyers that get exposure to Scratchy on other platforms that migrate over to Drip and Animal Farm, because most likely that's where the largest jackpots will be, because we're getting a head start there. Now, if there's another platform that ends up selling more tickets, they will have the larger treasury, which is great, because that means they took our model and they're taking it to the next level, which means a greater revenue share for all of the people that are buying Scratchy on any platform, including Drip and Animal Farm. So Drip and Animal Farm have a nice head start, which will act as a funnel to drive people in there, but also it's extremely attractive to any platform, because it's a model that will drive a ton of cash into their assets. And then it's not just a model that can work with DeFi platforms. So if there's a platform that doesn't have a native asset, say an online casino, or say you're an influencer. Now, I've been doing a lot of networking, you know, behind the scenes with some people that are very much tied into the gambling YouTube influencer space. Essentially, people that stream on Twitch and stream on YouTube, then playing different, you know, casino games and stuff like this. It will allow these influencers and essentially anybody who has the, you know, the drive and what it takes to start a brand, it will allow them to start their own brand of scratch tickets, using Scratchy as the backbone for their protocol. You know, it gives them the infrastructure to easily do it, and they can start their own brand. And what the and you know, the capital, the 15% of BNB that would typically be going to buying the native asset on a DeFi platform, instead becomes a revenue stream for influencers or businessmen or businesswomen who want to start their own brand of scratch ticket protocols. And this is another reason why it's negotiable, because it's going to be a case by case basis what percentage you know, gets used as a revenue stream for them. But it's, you know, it's extremely attractive because they can, you know, earn up to 15% of all the BNB used to buy tickets from their scratch ticket brand. And one of the reasons why we can do that is because we're using a model that is based off the traditional scratch ticket model. Now, with the traditional scratch ticket model, about 60% of all the capital that goes to buying tickets goes towards state taxes and to the state essentially, and administration fees. And since this is DeFi, those administration fees, instead of going to just politicians and pencil pushers, it's going to the clients and the people who are the users of the system. And then the capital that would otherwise be going to the state essentially can be used to do buybacks of the native assets as a revenue stream for the developers, and to increase the prizes so we can have larger prizes than the traditional model, but still be equally or even more sustainable than the traditional model, because we have
Someone just claimed
the distribution of
a large
capital
chunk
that's
of
going
drip
to
and took it out.
prizes is essentially the same as the traditional model, but then capital that would otherwise be going to the state or to administration can bump up the jackpot and go towards cash flows to the hosters and revenue sharing. So the beauty of the traditional scratch ticket model is, for each batch that's sold, you know how many winners there's going to be, you know what the prize sizes are going to be. All of that is baked in, so you know it's going to be
in the wallet, waiting to sell.
as long as the tickets sell, you know it's profitable and you know it's sustainable. Now, we kind of took it to the next level, which can only be done through the power of DeFi, and made it scalable. So 100% of the tickets for each batch don't even need to be sold for the system to be functional. In fact, only 10% of the tickets need to be sold on each batch for the system to be functional. So the and also it has instant, essentially a form of instant gratification, in the sense that when you buy a ticket, you can instantly scratch it. You can instantly see what your prize is. You can decide you want to claim that prize, buy a couple of new tickets. You can decide, hey, the prize is I only won my money back. I don't even care about getting my money back. I want to stake this ticket to increase my share of the revenue. It's immediate, which is not like any other lottery system, like the Pancake Swap lottery, all of these, where you have to wait essentially 24 hours. And then there's only one winner. Where in our case, you buy a ticket, you immediately scratch it, you immediately find out if you're a winner or not. 1 in 3 tickets is a winner. Ever increasing jackpots. Using Chainlink's VRF service to be verifiably random and trustless. There's nothing like it in DeFi or in crypto. Chainlink was blown away by it when we had a demo for them last week, because Chainlink came to me and said that they wanted a partnership with one of our projects, and I told them that we don't really have something right now that can utilize Chainlink in a way that justifies a partnership. And I think they were kind of impressed by that, because there's a lot of people that would say, hey, Chainlink, you want a partnership? Let's do it. We'll just make some random nonsense, or just use your pricing oracle, something that doesn't even make sense, just for the partnership. Where I told them, let me build something that is using your products to their their optimal potential in a way that no one else is using them. And this way, when we announce a partnership, this is something that you can be proud of. This is something that you can show off and say, look how they're using the Chainlink VRF service. This is, it's extremely innovative, and you can only do this with Chainlink, kind of thing. So very bullish for them. And when they when they saw our demo, they were very, very impressed. And I have a follow up meeting with them next week to discuss terms. So last week it was a demo, and we didn't even go into the terms of the partnership or anything. But they were, they at the end of the meeting they were like, all right, next week we'll meet up, we'll discuss how we're going to partner, we'll discuss how we're going to co-promote all that stuff. So they're already on board, but there's a few things that I'm going to essentially ask from them to really solidify the partnership. So it's more than just a co-promotion. There's some other things that they can do for us that really will signal to the market that they're fully behind us. And from talking to them, they're fully on board with it. So Scratchy it's amazing. And let me say one more thing, because I could keep going on, but just to talk about a little bit of the innovation. So with Scratchy, there's a form of theta for staking that ensures that the revenue sharing staking pool does not become diluted over time. So if you're scaling, meaning you're bringing on new platforms, that's increasing the amount of BNB going to the revenue sharing pool. But if tickets are being sold every day, and a bunch of tickets are going into the pool every day, that's diluting the staking pool, which is essentially diluting the amount of BNB revenue sharing that's going to each ticket that's staked. So we came up with a model that addresses this and ensures that it's always attractive for new capital to come in by putting a form of theta decay on a ticket similar to an options contract. And the way it works is when you buy a ticket, there's a multiplier associated with the ticket and an amount of time that ticket can earn, and it's displayed right on the ticket, so you can see it when you look at the ticket on the front end. Now, each month, the multiplier reduces, and every day the timer on the ticket ticks down. And because of this, every day, or essentially constantly, the platform needs to look at whose tickets need to be updated on that day. So the multiplier is being reduced every month, but since there's new buyers every day and throughout the day, that means everybody will be hitting their new month time differently. I buy today, in 30 days, it'll be the end of my month. You buy tomorrow, then in 31 days, it'll be your time. So that means constantly we need to be looking at who needs to have their the state of their stake updated. And previously, if you look at what people are using, right? What before we made our innovation, this couldn't be done. And the reason why it couldn't be done is because if you're having to update the state of every staker constantly, it becomes very expensive because essentially updating values on a contract, you need to write that to the block. And whenever you're writing something to the block, it costs money. And when you have a bunch of stakers and you're writing info to the block, every single time you need to update a stake, which needs to happen all day constantly, it gets to the point where it would cost hundreds or thousands of dollars every time someone wanted to interact with the contract, and then get to the point where it can't even write the info to the block because it's too much info to even fit on one block, because there's limits of data you can write to each block in on any blockchain network. So we needed to come up with a solution for this, and we did. Now, this solution does not just apply to a scratch ticket model, it applies to any model where you need to be constantly updating the state of a staking contract that has essentially an infinitely large amount of users. And the way that we did it was by using a indexing model that we are essentially bringing to DeFi for the first time, right? It's a major innovation. And the way it works is when someone buys from a specific batch, their state, and when they stake, their state of their stake goes into a specific index for that day. And then when the contract needs to update, it looks at who was the person to be updated, the longest time ago. Who has been in the contract the longest without having their state updated, and then it updates that person's stake, and it cycles through their index, and this ensures that the people that need to have their state updated on that day get their state updated on that day without needing to go through all of the states of all the stakers and update all of them every day. And it's even more so than every day, because if you want to have it decentralized, then that means you need to have the users calling the function to update the state. And you can do that by having it so when they do any other function, like a deposit or a claim or withdrawal, it updates the state. But if you're going to have it every time someone is doing a function to update the state, it going through all of the stakes, it's not going to work, right? It's going to be too expensive. It's going to eventually fail because it's going to be too large. So you would need to use a centralized oracle to update the states and do it, say, once a day. But with our model, how we've developed it, which is a major innovation in time-related staking contracts, it's completely decentralized. The users are who are calling the function to update the states of the users, and it's using a innovative new indexing model to ensure that they're only needing to update the state of a very small limited amount of people. Essentially, only the people that staked from one batch, and then the amount of people that are staking on one batch is probably going to be about 40% of the buyers from that batch. So it's going to cost a couple cents, right? So this is the kind of innovation we're bringing to the space, where it's not just, we're the first people to build a scratch ticket protocol, which is amazing, right? That's going to be a big deal. But also, to do that, and the reason why it hasn't been done yet, is because it takes a fundamental, innovative development and essentially reworking the way staking contracts function, like from the ground level. And we did that. And, I brought on two extremely talented and innovative computer science majors who are also, developers in the space. They've done some development with DeFi gaming and like loot boxes where you win a random NFT. So I knew they would be someone that could potentially bring something to the table. And I had a mutual friend with them, so I spoke with him about bringing them onto the team to do this project, along with me and another developer who I've been working with for a long time, who essentially is auditing and reviewing their code as it's done. And we just worked. We worked for I would say 5 to 6 months. We worked on this before 5 to 6 months, but solving the hard problems for about 5 or 6 months, really focused on that. and we came up with extremely innovative solutions. And this is why I said that Chainlink was blown away, because it wasn't just we built an awesome scratch ticket protocol which is innovative and new to the space. It's no, we reworked the way that time staking protocols in DeFi function to allow them to be extremely efficient and to constantly update the states without using a centralized oracle, which is something that's never been done before. And we brought that to the table here. So this is why something like this has never been done. This is why no one's going to do it, until we bring it to the table. And then sure, some people will copy paste our code or whatever, which is no big deal because we have the, just like people that tried to copy paste the drip code. Yeah, they had their little month shine or something like that. But I would say this is even more complex than that. And also there's very little incentive to try to copy our code because it's a white label protocol. You can just use our protocol, and yeah, you're gonna pay essentially a 15% platform oracle cost, but that's that's very, very fair, right? That's something that absolutely people that'll be attractive to a dev team, because you're going to pay more than that just to develop and audit and build everything. So the way that our model set up, it's no one's gonna beat us to it. No one's going to and I don't believe people are even going to want to copy and paste this after, because the money it would take to properly do it is going to be more than the client platform oracle cost that you would pay us to just use our white label service. So Scratchy, I think, is the next level, right? That's something that I'm so excited about. Anything that I want to do from now on, it needs to be scalable. I want it to service the whole crypto market, but it needs to act as a funnel for our native protocols, and it needs to act as a cash flow for our native protocols. And Scratchy is, I would say, the first major protocol that we built that does that, but it's not going to be the last, right? This is going to be our focus. It's going to be Animal Farm launch, and then a subsequent launches every couple weeks of new products, Drip, and the new products we built for Drip, new UI for Drip, then Scratchy, and then continuing to support all of our products. But I'm going to get right to the drawing board to work on our next big thing, which needs to be something that services all of DeFi, but meets the requirements that I just mentioned. And of course, what I'm looking at is gaming, lending, privacy, and insurance. And we're gonna continue to deliver. And we're in a better place than ever because we have more skilled developers than ever. We have a marketing team, which is something we've never had. We have a project manager. We just had this major correction in the market, which is beautiful because it allows us to launch these new products essentially at the ground floor and benefit from the next major bull run. We're in a better place than ever.
That is awesome. Scratchy, the mechanics behind that sound truly incredible. I know you must have been working on that for months and months on end to really dial down everything like that. You just mentioned just then the timing with the bear market. Do you think sort of the alignment with a crypto bull market and all the utilities coming for Drip and Animal Farm, do you think you've kind of aligned it in a way where that's going to benefit each other?
Yeah. So whenever I launch something, I really don't pay too much attention to the day-to-day swings or month-to-month swings in the market, because that's not something you can control. Really, what I can control is preparing as much as we can, building as good products as we can, and promoting them as much as we can. But when it comes to the major cycles in the market, of course I can't control it, but we can kind of work around them. And I think that partly due to luck, right? Because you need some luck when you're doing these things, and partly just by design, we are going to be launching these products at, I think, the optimal time. So there was a project that people know about. It's like a time staking project that launched early, like 2019 or something, and they did major moves. And part of the reason why they did major moves is because they launched when ETH was like $200, and they were paired with ETH, and there was a lot of like centralized, buying and manipulation and stuff going on, where that caused major price pumps. But I would say the main contributor was the fact that the underlying asset that they were paired with did I don't know, 40x or something, like crazy move. That's huge because that gives you a lot of wiggle room. Like if your paired asset is pumping, then when your asset's pumping, you're gonna pump even harder. And when you have a correction, you could still be moving up, even though you're having some sales. So it's there's nothing like launching in a bull run. It's there's no way to recreate something like that. And I think that we'll largely have that on our side. But the even if the market was to remain stable, I'm cool with that too. And really, from my perspective, of course the market could go lower, but at this point it can't go that much lower. So this is why I started DCAing into BNB and ETH and some of the major assets last month and over the past couple months, is because the way I see it, if we did a 50% correction, here, like in ETH or Bitcoin or whatever, I can live with that. I'm not over leveraged. I have a long time horizon. Fine, it's no big deal. And the reason why it's no big deal is because the upside is massive. It's
Binance hot
it's
wallet
huge. I think the next bull run
has been doing tons
could
of
be,
transactions,
especially for DeFi,
transferred in,
and not could be. It's going to be. I'm confident it's going to be the largest bull run we've had yet.
Just to
because
help the price.
The last
bit
bull
right
run
now. Very interesting.
Allowed for the foundation to be built in DeFi. It allowed a lot of very good platforms to be established. It built the infrastructure. It allowed the chain link and the dexes to get set up and build the infrastructure, and also bring on a ton of new investors, people that are just going to DeFi for the first time. This bull run, we have the benefit of having that infrastructure now. So, Bitcoin may only do 5x or 10x or whatever because it's already pretty large. Now, relative to how big it can get, it's not large. It makes up a tiny portion of global markets, but it's still a pretty big market cap. But this bull run is going to be the bull run of DeFi, and I believe that we're going to blow away anything that we've done previously as far as the gains that we're going to see, and we'll see the meme tokens and all of that. But I think largely a lot of those lessons were learned, especially the people that were part of the last market. Just having a reflective reward token is not going to do it in this run. You got to do some innovation because we've been there and done that. So I'm feeling positive about this next run. And when I say reflective reward token isn't going to cut it, we were the ones that really brought that to the table. So REAP was the first deflationary reflective reward token, and we launched it about 2 years ago, and it was huge, right? It did like 400x or something, 500x, but we didn't just let it sit there. We developed a DAO around it, and this is why REAP is still way up near all-time highs and continues to maintain value. People don't want to sell REAP because REAP gives them access to deals and info and a kind of community that we have in the DAO. And we're going to be opening that up as well. We're going to open up 1,000 new seats for the DAO. It's going to be like a tier 2, but you'll still get all of the access to the deals that will be in the DAO. It will be it will cost less, so it will cost about 1/10 of the price as the current price to get into the DAO, which is around like $30,000 right now. So so if we were to open it up today, it would cost about $3,000 to access tier 2, and essentially the way it will work is you'll be a member of the DAO. You'll get access to all of the deals. You'll be in the chat, so you can share with all of the the trade info and everything that we share in there. And you'll also get access to all of the deals, right? The native deals and the third party pre-sale deals that we host in there. And essentially you'll pay 1/10 of the price to get in, and the deal allocation that you get will be about 1/10 of the size of tier 1. And that creates kind of a stepping stool for you to get into tier 1. You can buy your tier 2 entry, use it to get a couple solid deals, build up your stack, and then sell that NFT that represents your ticket to tier 2 for a profit, and then use the money that you made in the deals from being in the DAO and the profit of the NFT that you sold to get into tier 1. So I wanted to ensure that it allows more of the average user to get exposure to our deals, and also acts as a stepping stone to get you into the tier 1. Before, and this is going to be something that we do before Scratchy goes live. So there's a couple different projects that we're going to raise capital for. There's one that we essentially came to an agreement about that I'll be announcing relatively shortly. That's a third party project that we'll be hosting the pre-sale for in the DAO. And also Scratchy will be Scratchy will have its own pre-sale that is going to be hosted in the DAO. Before Scratchy goes live, we're going to have we're going to open up the 1,000 seats for the DAO. So people more so more of the drip community can get involved, right? It's not the barrier to entry will not be as high. We wanted to do that before Scratchy. Now, whether we do the raise for this third-party project before or after Scratchy launches, I'm not sure. They want to raise shortly. They basically want to start raising now. Scratchy is a couple months away from us hosting the pre-sale, and that's because we want to handle Animal Farm and then the new drip products before. So potentially we will have another third party raise in the DAO before the Scratchy pre-sale. I'll be determining this in the next week or so. But just to give kind of a sneak peek about what the two raises that we're reviewing are. One of them is a protocol that essentially allows people to issue their own stable coins. And it's interesting. It's essentially it allows people to create their own over collateralized stable coins. So I don't want to get too much into it, but it's actually a pretty interesting project. And the people that developed it also developed a pretty major exchange that's been active and functional and doing really well since like 2015. So they're major players in the space, and it's a decent idea. It's an idea that I can get behind. You know, it might not be something that I would develop, but it's something that, because it's actually, some of the elements to it are have a little bit to do with something that I want to develop that I think I can really like take to the next level. But anyways, it's a project that has a good team behind it, and the idea is worth getting behind, I feel. And the other one is even more crazy. It's I don't know, you know, do you know Napster? Do you remember Napster?
No.
Okay, well, this is another thing that people will know what I'm talking about when I talk about Napster. Napster was the first major torrent software. So they it was mostly focused around music. They got sued by like Metallica. Anyways, this is kind of like early internet lore, but the developer of Napster, and of course, torrents are a form of decentralized technology that really became popular before cryptocurrency. So this is someone that was developing decentralized networks before DeFi existed. And what he has developed is a stable coin that functions on the Lightning Network that allows people to swap trustlessly in and out of Bitcoin into stablecoin on the Lightning Network, you know, trustlessly, in a decentralized fashion. And the reason why this is so huge is because right now, if you have Bitcoin and you want to take profit, you either need to use a centralized exchange to swap for a stablecoin, which is a taxable event, which means you have to hand your keys over to a centralized exchange, and it's depending on where you live, you could end up paying 40% of the profit you made in taxes, or you know, and if it's a stable coin, you have to get to a completely other network. You have to either go into, you know, the ERC20 network or the BEP20 network, and either keep that capital on a centralized exchange where they have your keys, or remove it to a completely other network. Or you have to cash out into fiat, which almost always means full KYC, stocking yourself, taxes, and now fees to get out. And now your money's not in crypto anymore, and it can be difficult to get in and out of crypto, especially if you're trying to do it in a way that's you're not paying high fees and you're not doxing yourself. What this allows for is for you to do essentially an on-chain swap from Bitcoin to a stable coin. And the way that the US tax structure works is, if you do a swap on chain, meaning you never leave the network, the US tax code treats that as if you never left the asset. So it's not a taxable event. So this will allow people to remove exposure to Bitcoin and take profit on Bitcoin without leaving the network, without it being a taxable event, and without needing to give your keys over to some centralized exchange or dox yourself. it's huge. It's huge, and from what I've been, from the research I've done, if anybody's gonna be able to pull something like this off, it's the developer of Napster, who's been developing decentralized networks since before DeFi existed. So they're looking to raise capital as well. I believe they raised a couple million through some venture capitalist firms already. And yeah, essentially, I had a mutual, someone that I know that is a operator at one of the VCs. Uh, one of the same people who I got the Acquirify deal from, a different VC group, but one of the same mutuals come to me, and they're looking to raise capital. And they're looking to raise capital from someone that is that understands and is tied into DeFi. So I mean, that's huge, right? That is huge. That's going to be one of the biggest things to hit Bitcoin in a long time, and maybe probably the biggest thing to hit Bitcoin since the Lightning Network itself, and it actually gives people a reason to use the Lightning Network. So, and there's so many other implications. There's the implications of being able to now price things in UST, do retail, so allow people to buy and sell products and services priced in USDT, instantly confirmed with the Lightning Network, and then at the end of the block, it confirms on the main Bitcoin blockchain. It's really what Bitcoin needs to kind of go to the next level, I feel, for mainstream adoption. And yeah, this is potentially something we could raise capital for in the DAO. They're interested in us doing it. And the main kind of sticking point for me right now is really it's doing the due diligence on their stablecoin protocol, ensuring that they are in a position to be collateralized and keep a peg and all of these things, and then just kind of figuring out the details of how we're going to do a raised distribution on the Lightning Network, which is kind of new to me. But I'm definitely interested in it, and I think there's major implications to this, and it's another massive third party raise that is on the table right now for the DAO. So we're if you look at where some of these other DAOs have gone, like I don't need to name them, but some of the ones that were big in the space like a year ago that were doing all these pre-sale raises, most of them are gone, and that's because they were raising capital for anyone that would allow them to raise capital for, because the developers were getting a share of the capital they raised, or the host of the DAO, whatever you want to call it, and they were just pumping out garbage. Where I have been super strict about who we raise capital for. I understand that if I'm raising capital for someone, I'm putting my reputation on the line, and I'm very serious about our integrity and our reputation, and making sure that if we're going to raise capital for something, it's something that I want to invest in, and it's something that I can be confident in. And this is why we've only had one third party raise since the DAO started. We've done some in-house raises, which have all been extremely successful, but we've only had one third party raise. But with the network that I've developed in the past, well, I guess you could say over my career, but for this specific, for specifically about raising for very high quality projects, I've made some very good connections with some VCs recently, like in the past year, and we have a lot of deals on the table that we're looking at, and we're only going to take like the cream of the crop. And this is why our DAO is still functional. This is why our DAO token is doing better than ever, maintaining value, and all the other ones are falling off. It's a matter of integrity, and just continuing to deliver, right? So
Awesome. That's a major incentive to get into the DAO there, Forex.
yeah, it is.
I actually had a question I want to ask myself, and then we'll get to some community questions. But I had a question, a couple questions actually about the Pigpen game. The first one I think I know the answer to, but that is how fun is the game going to be to play? And the second one is sort of a situational one. So if you had, let's say,
It's not doing
a
better than
lot
ever.
of capital and not a lot of time,
in the last day.
versus you had not a
Big
lot
red
of
candle.
capital, but you had a lot of time, how would sort of the
Interesting.
gameplay experience differ in terms of what you do for those two particular scenarios?
Yeah. Okay, so we have a passive and an active strategy to the game. And so the way the game works is when you buy into the game, you deposit pigs into the game. Those pigs get staked on your behalf into the pig pen, and you now launch your own botnet. Now, a botnet is, and this is, of course, I'm talking about theming. You're not actually launching a botnet virus, right? But this is the theme of the game. Now, you're launching a botnet. Now, this botnet starts infecting servers and generating capital for you. So, we can talk about. I have a security background. Before I ever got into developing crypto, I took the offensive security certificate program, web application program. I was doing bug bounty work. I actually thought this is what I wanted to do for a living potentially, and then I realized like you don't get paid well. So I decided to focus on other things. But I wrote my own DDoS, like innovative DDoS scripts, and I did a lot of interesting things while I was focusing on security. But this is why I have that interest. I've been interested in security for a long time, all the way since I was in I guess probably my freshman year of high school, doing pranks by installing servers into the computer lab computers so I could access them from home or access them from a different computer lab computer to prank my friends that were on that computer. I've been interested in this stuff for a very long time. So that's why I wanted to choose this theming. I think it's a cool theming. It's fun, right? So anyways, when you buy into the game, you deposit pigs. Those pigs get deposited into the pig pen on your behalf. Now, the theme of the game is a botnet is launched. Now, your botnet starts spreading. And as it spreads, there's a thing called essentially botnet mining. And what this does is when the botnet server it infects a computer, or infects a network, it starts using that network's resources to mine for the host, to mine for the person who has launched the botnet, essentially. So the way the theming works is you launch a botnet, and your botnet starts infecting servers and starts using these servers' resources to mine for you. Now, this is the passive element of the game. So as your botnet spreads, it infects more servers, and it allows you to earn essentially a daily yield, which is being paid out to you in BUSD and pigs. This BUSD and pigs is coming from both the pigs that are being deposited in the game and from the BUSD and pigs that are being generated from the pig pen that are essentially connected with the stakes that are hosted on your behalf when you enter the game. So as your servers spread, you generate more BUSD and more pigs that are essentially being mined for you. The servers your botnet is using the servers that you're infected to mine that for you. Now, as you build up servers, as your botnet starts to spread, you start to build up a reputation. Now, this reputation starts to make different hacker groups available to you. So as your reputation builds, different hacker groups become available to you. And it starts off where a hacker group called Script Kiddies is made available to you. Now, a Script Kiddie is someone that is a kind of hacker, but they use other people's scripts. They're not writing their own code. So it's called a Script Kiddie. But we're sticking with the Animal Farm theming. So instead of Script Kiddie, Kiddie, it's Script Kiddie, Kitty. Now,
Nice.
yeah, so what you could do now as your reputation builds is start recruiting members from these hacker groups to help you spread your botnet. Now, when you recruit members, each hacker group has their own tools that they specialize in to help spread your botnet. And once you've recruited at least one member from a hacker group, those tools become available to you as well for the active elements of the game. And the active elements of the game are building up defenses to protect your servers. For example, putting firewalls on your servers and various defensive protections to help protect the servers that you've infected, to offensive security tools such as remote access tools, such as DDoS tools, such as ransomware tools. And these tools, once you have access to them by recruiting at least one member from the group that specializes in that tool, you can now use that tool to attack other players in the game and build up your defense to prevent other players in the game from attacking you. And the active part of the game is turn-based. So you have a set number of turns every day that you can use to attack other players in the game. Now, the way that the attack and or let's just call it the active part of the game works is essentially you have various scores. You have an offensive score, you have a defensive score, and you have a essentially a looting type of score. And you use your turns to target other players in the game that have a lower defensive score than your offensive score. And then when you attack them, your looting score essentially determines the amount of servers that you can steal from them. Now, for example, there's a hacker group called Lizard Squad. Lizard Squad specializes in DDoS tools. So when you recruit a member from Lizard Squad, they're going to do two functions for you. One function is they start using their DDoS tools to attack servers, and then use social engineering to provide them security tools for their own attacks, which are infected with your botnet. So this is how they spread your botnet for you. And the more members you recruit from Lizard Squad, the faster they'll be able to spread your botnet through using their form of DDoS security deception. But also, once you have recruited at least one member from Lizard Squad, now you can also use that DDoS tool as an offensive attack to attack other players in the game. And that could be me attacking you. That literally any other player that's in the game, you could attack them. and as long as your offensive score is higher than their defensive score, you can steal service from them. So people who have people who don't have a lot of time but have a lot of resources can spend their time building, recruiting as many members from the most powerful hacker groups that are focused on spreading your botnet, and then really only focus on buying tools that will build up your defense. That way, they're infecting as many servers as possible and defending those servers. Whereas someone who has more time can focus more on building up their offense and their looting, and then targeting players in the game who are spending more on spreading their botnet but not building up enough defenses. And someone could be, spreading their botnet for a month to affect all these servers, but if they don't build up their defense in one turn, they can lose all those servers to someone who is spending their time on the more active strategy. So it's truly a well-balanced strategy game. It's not. There's a lot of games out there that are glorified staking contracts claiming to be games. This is a true game with multiple different strategies you can take, multiple different gameplay methods. There's a form of lottery in the game. There's different characters that you can bring on. So it's a ton of fun, right? I've already played the game just from like a testing perspective, and I know it's something that people are going to enjoy a lot, but also, I mean, you can make money in it. So I would say one of the coolest parts about it is that it's built on top of the Pigpen. So what that means is if you put $50 in the Pigpen and you put $50 into the Pigpen game, you know about what you're going to earn from the Pigpen. What you're going to earn from the Pigpen game is going to be dependent on how well you play the game. And since essentially what happens is the capital, the dividends that are earned in the Pigpen that are associated with the game stakes goes into the pot of the game. And so you stake in the Pigpen, and you're going to get your share of whatever the dividends are paid out to you. If you enter the Pigpen through the game, whatever dividends are being built up go into the pot. And then what determines how much of that you get is based on your gameplay. And that means that someone who puts less money in could potentially earn more than someone that puts more money in to the game. So it's pretty cool in that sense where you could earn more money in the game than you do just from a regular stake in the Pigpen, even if you stake the same amount of money, if your gameplay is good. So that's another kind of element there where it's people who have more time can really take advantage of that. People who are, if you want to be completely hands off and you just want to collect dividends from like a share ownership of the farm, you can just get into the Pigpen. But if you want to, play the game and you have time and you want to be active, you could potentially earn a lot more money for the same amount of capital by putting that capital in the game rather than straight up into the Pigpen. And also, it's going to incentivize people to stay in for longer, to put more capital in. It's really going to do a lot to support the overall ecosystem of the farm as well. There's also a use case for drip in it, which I'll get into. I want to announce that once the game is live, because it's something that will come into action about a week or two after the game's live, which is very attractive. And there's also an NFT element where certain items in the game are represented by NFTs, and there's a form of like battle auction to own the NFTs. So there's a lot. There's a lot that some of it I'll get into after it goes live, because it's kind of surprises that come out after as the game progresses.
Yeah, so what I can hear from that is that if you go for a more offensive strategy, you can potentially make a lot more, but then I guess you're more vulnerable to attacks. But if you're more defensive, then you might be able to earn more passively, and you're less likely to get attacked and lose a whole bunch of your earnings. So is that kind of the right premise?
Yeah, and you could choose to focus on defense and offense and focus very little on spreading your botnet. And in that sense, you could be, like Breaking Bad. You're the one who knocks, right? You're the one that's just attacking people. You're taking their money and you're defending it against people who would try to attack you back. And that would be like the most active strategy, is just purely focusing on building up your offense and your defense, attacking at strategic times, and really just coming up with innovative strategies to build up your offense in ways that other people are not, which is absolutely possible, and people are going to come up with these mechanics. Also, we spent a ton of time developing it in a way where there's very little progression for bots. So it's complex, and there's enough depth that there's really very little advantage to bots. Bots can do, like, if someone wanted to develop a bot to play the game, they would just be doing surface level stuff, which is fine. It actually supports the project, but really, I mean, it's the game it's a strategy based game, and the strategy that you have to employ is going to depend on how everybody else is playing the game. So building bots it could just really take advantage of like the real surface level part of the game. It's not going to be something where bots are dominating, because the evolving strategy of the system just doesn't allow for that.
Awesome. So we have a few questions on Twitter now. So we'll just get to a few of those to finish off, I think.
Sure.
This question's from Bartertown. So I'm not sure if we covered this before when we talked about scratchies, but he said,
a question
is there going to be a
Bartertown.
daily volume minimum on Scratchy for partners, or those who want to buy bulk white label service Scratchy NFTs? How will things be organized?
Yeah, okay. So each batch of tickets is going to be about $300,000 worth of B&B, and you need to be able to sell a minimum of 10% of a batch to for the game to be functional. So you need to be able to sell about $30,000 worth of tickets out of each batch to have it be functional, and that's something that is reachable by anybody who has any kind of volume on a platform. Now, of course, we're going to people who can actually raise capital efficiently and are going to be able to sell tickets, or who will be placed at the front of the line as far as who are going to be able to use our model. But there's very little downside for us as far as partnerships, because they have their own treasury. They're hosting it on their own platform. They have no ability to rug. They have no ability to mint. So it's very little risk. And worst case scenario, right? They can't sell tickets. Then what happens is the treasury, because the only real account that they have, which is separate from our the rest of our accounts, is their treasury. And if it gets to a point where a platform can't sell tickets, or they want to shut down their platform for whatever reason, whatever the case is, their treasury just gets absorbed into the other treasuries, and that's it. That's like worst case scenario. So there's we can partner with essentially anybody, as long as they can sell tickets. There's no downside, and what's going to determine whether we do co-promotion and all of that with them is the legitimacy of their other products, essentially.
Awesome. Another question that we have here is someone to know the potential. I don't know if you're willing to say this, but the order of when all the utilities would be rolled out. For example, Animal Farm, and then what would be after that, etc. If that's something you're willing to share.
Yeah, sure. So, Animal Farm, Pigpen Game, Dogs Roulette, a Drip UI, a new drip product for the reservoir and for the faucet will be launching at the same time. Scratchy pre-sale, Scratchy launch, and potentially in between that, we could have 1 or 2 third-party raises in the DAO. The Scratchy pre-sale will take place in the DAO, and most likely we'll have overlap in the sense that the Animal Farm will go live first, the Pigpen game will go live next, and most likely the Dogs Roulette game and the Drip new products will be overlapping because I want to get the Drip stuff out ASAP, but I don't want to push everything at the same time. So that's the basic order of how everything's going to be pushed. Scratchy will be in a couple months. Animal Farm. So Animal Farm, we're going to be wrapping up the final bits of the UI that we need to get done this week. We're then going to start a marketing campaign while we're doing audits. And audits won't take long, but we want to get third-party audits. So we're going to have about a month and a half long marketing campaign for Animal Farm. So what that means is in the next week and a half, something like that, we're gonna set a launch date for Animal Farm, which will be about 1 month from then.
1 to 2 more weeks.
And then we're gonna have a very strong and concentrated marketing campaign to market the launch of Animal Farm, to build up excitement and to build up allow people to get their capital ready and all of that. And then Animal Farm goes live. A couple weeks after that, Hacker Game goes live. After Hacker Game goes live, we'll most likely have a launch date for the Drip UI and the Drip products. Dogs Roulette game will come out shortly after that, a couple weeks after that. And by that time, we should have a Scratchy launch date as well. Scratchy's built. Scratchy is 100% built.
Everything is 100% built. That never launches.
Everything needs to have its own time because our marketing is, structured, and everything needs to have its own, promotion. So that's the basic outline of how things are going to go. And the one thing we're waiting for to have dates on everything essentially is Animal Farm, because all of the products are built except for
everything is
some
built,
of the UI work
but can't
with
give
Animal
a
Farm,
date
and that's
and
like
can't launch it for six
I
more
spoke
weeks.
about this early on.
That keeps
earlier
pushing for 4
on
to 6 weeks.
why
It's not built.
We had some delays in Animal Farm, and why and how we address those. By essentially cutting out the dead weight and the people that just weren't delivering, and replacing them with people that I've worked with for a long time that are self-motivated and know exactly what they need to do. And it's just, we're cranking it out right now. So I would, in the first half of or let's just say in the next week or two, there will be a date for Animal Farm, 100%.
100%.
And that means everything is built, everything is complete.
We've heard 100%.
The documentation, all the new documentation for Animal Farm will be live on or published on Monday. But yeah, I would, most likely by the end of this week, we will have a launch date for Animal Farm. So we're just days away. It's very exciting. Very exciting.
Awesome. For us, yeah. I think everything that is coming, I think most people are so excited for all the innovation that's about to go down. The next few months, I think you're definitely going to agree that are going to be a crazy time for the drip and Animal Farm ecosystem. To finish off, I'm just going to give you any final words that you want to say about things that's coming, what to expect, just anything you want to say. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I would say that people who are here right now are the people who are going to benefit the most from what's coming up in the next few months. People who have invested in value instead of investing in hype will be the ones that benefit most, because the hype wave is, about to come, right? The next couple months is going to be massive hype in the community. And, of course, that's going to bring in capital. And those who are buying drip and who are buying picks now are the ones that are going to see that appreciation in price. I would also say that keep your focus on a strong long-term investment strategy for all of our products. People who end up making the most profit in crypto are those who have a long-term vision and who are not doing scalping and day-to-day trading. That essentially gives money to middlemen and just generally creates a life that's full of stress, and most people lose money that way. We've developed our systems in a way where you don't need to trade to make money. You can earn a dividend in BNB and BUSD and Animal Farm. Drip allows you to earn a high daily ROI, as everybody knows. Scratchy allows you to earn a share revenue of the platform paid out in BNB. All of our models are designed to pay you without the need to trade. So keep that in mind. Have a long-term vision. Invest in value. Now's the time to invest in value. And take advantage of our referral structures. And, Scratchy has a referral or an affiliate marketing system which will allow you to earn a percentage of all the BNB used to buy tickets on a platform that you assist in getting us hosted on. So now's a good time to be reaching out to other DeFi, to the Drip group or the Animal Farm group. He's an admin. He has like an Apple for an avatar. He handles a lot of the comms for the group because I just get so many DMs every day. It's impossible to go through. He's the one to reach out to.
More of the same thing in regards to the excuses as to why we still do not have a launch date. He said, I promise you we will have launch date in a month. Everything is 100% built. However, we have to now take 1 or 2 more weeks before we can maybe give you an official launch date. And then there's some mysterious dev who's doing all this work that all of a sudden stopped showing up to meetings and wasn't delivering and wasn't having time. But I thought you hired a project manager. We thought there was a project manager involved that was hired to handle that and not let these things happen anymore. So all of a sudden this mysterious dev had to be fired. So now we're 1 or 2 weeks back, and then we should be able to give you a date. Then we need this secret marketing company that can't announce, and secret marketing CEO that can't announce who is this company. Why can't they be shared? Why can't this company be public? Who's been hired? Everyone would like to know who this is. To then, of course, need a whole month to market. I mean, I think the Animal Farm and all these filibusters have basically been the marketing for almost 5-6 months. So there's no need for any more marketing. I mean, how much marketing do you need to do to have something launched? And I'm going to go back and pick up the dates, and I'm going to break this and chop this all down. So thanks for any of those who use this to listen and to get some real good information. I'll be breaking it down. I'm going to have a drip and Animal Farm update. I'm going to be doing a recap. I'm going to be showing people what is really just in there, what's going on, what's in there, what's happening, so everybody understands what's happening, and everybody knows what's going on, so that of course we can make sure you're getting the most pertinent information for you to make the best investment decisions. So take care. I know you, if any of you stuck around for this filibuster, I apologize for the time of the regurgitation of the same information. There was nothing new learned. There was nothing new gained. Really don't even understand the purpose of it or what was the reasoning behind it. I really just don't even, there was no reason. But thank you all. I'm going to be having some follow-ups here, following things, checking price, seeing how things are going, and stay tuned. And of course, as always, here is to your success.